Welcome back to the Vault, and this an episode of Story Time. The Vault doors are about to open and take us on another adventure taken from our archives. As always, be a friend to the channel and please like this video and subscribe and click that notification bell. Today's story takes us traveling to the United States and the state of Alabama. This is a state that is full of wildlife and wilderness and woodland, and many reports of Bigfoot, Sasquatch, wild men have been reported in and around the state of Alabama. Grab yourself a warm drink, relax, unwind. This is the Bigfoot incidents of Alabama. The area in which these encounters took place is in the Center Star community of Lauderdale County, Alabama. There are a mix of new subdivisions, farms, trailers, and old homes. It is very thickly wooded, with plenty of deer, fox, turkey, livestock, and other wildlife. The entire area runs along the Tennessee River, with several large creeks branching off the river. The Blue Water Creek runs off the river inland, and in some parts there are high cliffs and caves. The main area of focus for my recount are bordered by county roads 33, 31, 411, and 111. There are plenty of areas where the woods get so thick that you cannot gain access to them. As a side note, there have also been some very large deer, 14 point, killed here. I will describe each incident in detail. Incident number 1. March 2011, about 7 a.m. It was the first morning of daylight savings. The clocks had been moved forward and I was out delivering papers. As I was making a delivery on Road 33, I noticed a large herd of deer running across the road about 100 yards in front of me. I would see deer every night, so that wasn't out of the ordinary. But what caught my attention was that they were being chased. They crossed from the woods to the south into the thicker woods of the north. I pulled up and looked at the place where they had come out of the woods. I was searching for what had been chasing them, but the only thing I noticed was it was very still and quiet for that time of morning. The trees were shaking. I also noticed that some of the cows in the nearby field were acting funny. They seemed very nervous. I grew up around cattle, so I can tell when they are out of sorts. Incident number 2. The next morning at around 5 a.m, I was on the backside of the woods where the previous incident took place. This time I was on the road 411. This is a dirt road going down to the sailing club. It is very thickly wooded, and to the north and to the south are some weekend homes and the club. I only needed to deliver one paper, turn around and drive back out, although there is one street light at the end of the road. On the whole, the street is still very dark. I had stopped to use the bathroom. I was facing the woods as I was doing so, and all of a sudden, something growled and screamed out of the woods at me. It was close enough that it made the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It was probably within 20 yards of me. I came back to investigate in the daylight and drove through the area, slowly, but I didn't see or hear anything. I also did some research on bobcat calls. as that was the only thing I thought it could possibly be, but this was no bobcat call. Several nights later, I was in the same area, when suddenly about 200 yards in front of me, I saw some eye shine coming from the riverside of the road before the crossing into the woods. The shine was about 6 feet high. I did see that the farm bordering this road had a large horse, and I knew that she had gotten out a few times, but she was nowhere near 6 feet off the ground. I began riding through the area with a video camera. A few days later, I saw the farm owner, and I asked her if she knew whether her horse had gotten out. She said she had not, but that her father-in-law had said that that was probably what had trampled all over the garden. This whole area is very well suited to a Bigfoot. I called the woods the Bigfoot Woods. They just have that creepy feel to them. I began to check the area several times a day but never saw anything. A few weeks later, the landowner moved some cattle in, but they did not stay long. I left a note on the fence asking if I could hike the area, but I never heard from him. A few months later, we moved into a newer neighborhood about a mile away from our old property. This new neighborhood was on the river, so I was able to observe the area at several different times of day and night. Incident number 3. Late August around 3 a.m. This encounter occurred roughly 2 miles from the first incident along Road 111, closer to the Blue Water Creek. The area is an isolated road with thick woods to both sides. There are farms on either side as well. It was a very muggy night, and I had my windows down and my tops out of the car. I was making a delivery, and the area across the road from me sloped up slightly into some thick woods between two farms. The woods went all the way back to the creek and the river inlet. I had just made my delivery when I heard a sound that to this day is still the scariest thing I have ever heard. From across the road came this combination of a bark mixed with an owl hoot, followed by monkey chatter. It sounded like it was right inside the forest, not far from the tree line, and judging by the array of noises I was hearing, I guessed that there were more of them. I left as quickly as I could. If something had come out of that slope, it would have been right on top of me. I didn't see it, but I felt its presence in the shadows just beyond the tree line. I never took my tops out again on that road and kept my windows up unless I was delivering. The next few nights, I did slow down and listen as I drove through. I also began to patrol that area at several different times throughout the day. I noticed that the area had a small ditch running down the middle of it. I never found out who owned the land to explore it more. However, I did download some Bigfoot calls and screams on my phone. While I was making deliveries, or at various times, especially during dawn or dusk, I would ride through playing those calls. I never got a response. There were several times I thought I heard hoots and calls. We had a lot of foxes in the area, but I know they do not get loud. I heard these emanating from somewhere in the distance. Often while I was outside at night, I would hear screams coming from the area of my first sighting. My new home was about a mile to the east of that area. I would also jog and run through that area, but never saw anything else again. What did you think of these scary incidents in Alabama and the sounds that this subscriber heard? Let us know in comments what you think. And please do join us here next time in the vault. for story time. Good night.